Some dunks are just highlights. But for LeBron James, dunking has always been a statement. A force that could change the energy in an arena, silence a crowd, and crush the will of anyone standing in his way. How did LeBron become one of the most explosive dunkers the game has ever seen? And how is he still defying gravity after 2 decades at the top of basketball? Growing up in Akron, Ohio, LeBron James was never just another kid on the court. He was taller, faster, and stronger than almost anyone around him. By the time he was married, he turned the basketball court into his personal stage. Fans would cram into packed gymnasiums, phones out, hoping to capture that one moment where LeBron took off, soared over defenders, and rattled the rim with a dunk that felt like it might bring the entire backboard down. His jumps didn't even look real sometimes, as if gravity simply didn't apply to him. That's when people started calling him the chosen one, and part of that prophecy was tied directly to the way he could fly through the air, making impossible dunks look routine. When LeBron entered the NBA at just 18, he didn't ease his way in. He exploded onto the scene. From the very first games, you could see the difference. His dunks weren't just flashy highlights. They were statements of power, confidence, and pure dominance. Defenders quickly learned that if LeBron had a clear path to the basket, trying to stop him was like standing in front of a freight train. One veteran once said, "You can either get out of the way or you're ending up on a poster." And that was only the beginning of what would become one of the most devastating careers of dunking the league has ever witnessed. Over time, LeBron's dunks evolved from pure power into a form of art. He didn't just rely on athleticism. He studied the angles, the footwork, the precise timing that could help him avoid defenders in midair. Behind closed doors, he'd practice the same move again and again, making it automatic. Sure, he looked up to legends like Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins, but he also built his own style. His signature tomahawk dunk, where he cocks the ball back with one arm before slamming it through, became a symbol of LeBron's reign. He added windmill dunks in transition, reverse dunks off spins, and even the ability to switch hands mid-air if defenders tried to cut him off. But as he grew older, something else changed. His dunks started to carry a different kind of weight. They weren't just athletic feats, they became psychological weapons. There are moments in NBA history that feel like they belong in highlight reels forever. And some of those belong to LeBron. There was the dunk over Jason Terry, a play so violent and sudden it practically broke the internet. LeBron cut through the defense, caught a lob pass, and detonated over Terry, sending him sprawling to the hardwood while the arena erupted. That single dunk became an instant meme and was replayed on sports shows for weeks. There was the coast-to-coast dunk against the Detroit Pistons in the playoffs, where LeBron caught the rebound, sprinted the length of the floor, and hammered down a one-handed slam so hard that the Pistons' entire defense looked defeated. Or the alley-oop against the Boston Celtics in the playoffs, where Dwayne Wade flicked the ball into the air and LeBron finished with a flying slam that felt like an exclamation point on Miami's dominance. And who could forget the dunk over Jusuf Nurkic, a monster slam that left the Blazers' big man looking like he wanted to crawl under the court. Beyond those famous moments, there are countless dunks that might never make SportsCenter, but still left teammates, coaches, and even rivals shaking their heads in disbelief. Like that time during a quiet regular season game when LeBron rose up so quickly, the defender barely got off the ground before the ball was already crashing through the net. Or the dunks in practice that teammates talk about in hushed tones, saying, "Man, you should have seen what Bron did today." Because for LeBron, dunking isn't just about highlights. It's about asserting dominance. It's about making opponents feel small. He understands the psychological warfare of basketball, and he uses dunks like a weapon. One look at his eyes after a big dunk tells you everything you need to know. He's sending a message that he's still the king of the court. Part of his secret? An absolutely ruthless dedication to his body. LeBron invests millions every year into maintaining his athleticism. Cryotherapy, hyperbaric chambers, yoga, strict diet, personal trainers focus specifically on vertical leap. It's all part of the routine. People close to him say LeBron treats every offseason like a chance to reinvent his body. And behind the scenes, there are whispers of private workouts where he repeats dunk motions over and over to keep his timing perfect. And even as his career stretched past the typical NBA lifespan, LeBron kept adapting. He learned how to pace himself during games, how to conserve energy for the right moment. Instead of dunking on every possession, he waits for the perfect chance. When the defense is off balance, when the crowd's waiting for a spark, or when his team needs a jolt of momentum. And that makes his dunks feel even more explosive, because they're rarer and more meaningful than ever before.
Over the years, coaches and trainers have said one of LeBron's true gifts isn't just physical, it's mental. He can analyze angles in real time, deciding whether to take off or pull up for a layup. His decision-making during dunks is so fast, it's almost invisible to viewers. But that's what makes him special. He's not just dunking to show off. He's dunking at the exact moment when it hurts his opponents the most. Even in warm-ups, fans crowd near the court hoping he'll unleash one of his trademark windmills. Sometimes he does it casually, just a flick of his wrist, and he's flushing the ball through the hoop like it's nothing. But even those dunks send a message. The king is still here. As LeBron inches closer to 40, the world keeps asking the same questions. Is this the year he finally loses his lift? Can he keep punishing the rim like he did at 25? But game after game, he proves that his story is far from finished. Because for LeBron James, a dunk isn't just 2 points. It's the exclamation point on a career that keeps redefining what's possible. And anytime he takes flight, there's a chance that the next dunk could be the one that makes the world stop and stare. Because with LeBron, you never know when the next moment is coming, but you can be sure that when it does, the entire world will be watching.